Uh, we're giving them a way to live within the United States. Whether that is right or wrong, that is for the individual to decide. However, these same people, these same politicians, these same leaders, which there is a great conflict between them, let's look at the other side of things. What about our homeless? What about our veterans who are living on the streets? What about our poor, our mentally ill, our addicts? And we might as well claim them. We are the United States. What about them? Are we taking care of them? Are we giving them housing? Are we giving them a way to live the American dream? You decide. But I would like somebody to explain to me how, on the God's green earth, can we say and make a decision about somebody's life, somebody that is coming in from a country, they're breaking their laws, the immediate law is coming in and coming in illegally, which breaks our laws as a country, as a nation. But then we ignore those people that are on the streets. We give those people that come into the United States a home. We give them health care, and we promise all those things. We promise them cards. We promise them that we're fighting for them to be able to vote. We're fighting for them to be part of the fabric of America. And there's justification for it. There's justification because, well, my parents came over from another country. We suffered persecution. We suffered famine. We suffered all these things. But what people forget is a lot of the people that came in, and even came in legally, they were discriminated against. So we have two problems. We have the problem here, the people that already live here that are being ignored. Yet we have these people in here that we justify because we came in, our forefathers came in, and they came in as an immigrant. So we should take care of those. Well, what about the other? As Jesus said, we should do both. We should follow the same process. If we're going to tithe, let us tithe both. But let's not leave mercy and justice undone. What about those people that live in the United States? We could say the same thing about both of them. But those that are already in the United States, shouldn't they be given first preference? I'm just asking. But those are the questions that we ask. Those are the hard questions. Those are the questions that our leaders that we voted into office need to determine. We can't leave, if you're going to leave one out, you got to leave the other out. So what about finding both out? How can we support both? Or should one be given preference over the other? If we allow one group that is coming here and trying to break down our borders and finding that what they bring with them into the country is not in our country's best interest, then what should we do? And I'm not talking about just the United States, I'm talking about all over the world. There are even some countries that unless you are a citizen of that country, you're not even allowed to buy property there. You actually have to become a citizen in order to buy property in those countries. But not so in the United States. You can buy as many houses as you want. You can start as many businesses as you want, because this is a democracy. This is freedom. This is what we've accepted in our government to do, because that's what our Constitution allows. Now, could we make those laws? Sure, we can make those laws. But it would be up to the people that we vote into office to do what the will of the people are, or is. Another example is there's laws that people are trying to pass that would destroy our electoral system and would bring things up to a popular vote. The whole reason for the Electoral College is to allow smaller states to have a voice as larger states. You would have cities like Washington, D.C., the district, you would have cities like New York. You could tilt an election by the major cities that would be voting for one politician or another. The Electoral College allows for the smaller states to be heard, the people with less population be heard. Because if it was dealing with the populist vote, the people that want their representation of the president most of all, to be those that would do the will of the big cities and not those of middle Americans. That's why there's a limit on how many delegates you can have to represent a state. And that's the way it should be. The will of those cities within states that do not have the rest of the interest of the country in mind should not rule, because they're going to rule after their own interest, and that could be at the detriment of the rest of the country. That's why the Electoral College happened. That's why it continues to happen, in order for America, each American person, to have a voice in elections. To give you another example of this, is we have a great debate at this point of people that are dismissing one race by mocking it, and that's what we say are mocking it, by wearing blackface. A white person wearing black shoe polish or whatever, to make fun of, I'm trying to think of the word, impersonate another race, and to bring derision on it. Is that right? No, that's not right. We hear the word racist and it's thrown around just like it's a tennis ball. And that's kind of like a word that's used to paint everybody. If you call them a racist, well, guess what? You're nothing. You're nothing. There's no reason why I should listen to you anymore if I call you that name, because that name has connotations. It has ugliness attached to it. However, those same people that call someone a racist will, within those circles of friends, of colleagues, of those who support their same view, will ignore. Absolutely, you can't say anything more than ignore what is going on with their own group of people. I could call somebody a racist and then quit listening to this whole group of people. However, it's within this group, it's called tolerance. It's called freedom of speech. It's called allowing a person to express themselves in a certain way, and that oftentimes against another group, another set of people in the same group. Someone needs to explain this to me. How can you take a group of people, a segment of society that's outside of your belief system, call them a word like racist, and then see the same exact thing within your own group and decide not to condemn those same actions and those same words? When somebody can explain that to me, then they can justify well, they can't justify, they really can't, but then maybe they can make me understand how that works. I can call someone an anti-Semite that is outside my group, but somebody within my group that has the same opinions, and maybe even stronger opinions than those I'm condemning outside my group, outside my circle of influence, they're called something else. They're justifying those people because they don't want to cause division within their party, cause division. They need to hold together, and they will do any and everything that they can to hold themselves together, even though they disagree vehemently, or they should, against positions that other people take. We see this being played out in the United States today, also in other countries as well, but we're talking specifically about the United States, and I'm sure the other people that are in the countries across the world that are listening to me see the exact same thing. Communism was a perfect example. Anybody that disagreed with them, they destroyed. So the people that they controlled believed in the party line or towed the party line for fear that they would be destroyed as well, that they would be painted and branded and cast out. So within the Communist Party in and of itself, you could have no dissension. You couldn't have any other opinion because they knew that if you had another opinion, the party was going to be destroyed. It would not survive. And we can see this with communism. Once they allowed the Democratic Party, communism fell apart. Dictators, as long as a dictator